Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, sexual assault survivors have been given a powerful platform to change the nation after Tasmania's Grace Tame was awarded Australian of the Year. For more now, we're joined live by reporter Sean McComish. Sean, this is also an important day for Tasmania.
Well, good evening, Louise. It certainly is. Grace Tame is the first Tasmanian to ever be awarded the nation's highest honour. Miss Tame was part of a campaign which overturned an archaic law gagging sexual assault survivors from talking about their abuse. But after last night, the entire nation now knows her name.
26-year-old Grace Tame is many things. She's funny.
Straight to the pool room.
Inspirational.
All survivors of child sexual abuse, this is for us.
And she's also this year's Australian of the Year, the first from Tasmania. As a 15-year-old schoolgirl, she was groomed and raped by her 58-year-old teacher and then gagged from talking about it publicly under Tasmanian law.
I remember him saying, "Don't make a sound." Well, hear me now. Using my voice amongst a growing chorus of voices that will not be silenced. Let's make some noise, Australia!
Grace helped lead the fight to overturn that archaic legislation, and now, armed with a national platform, she's taking her mission to the masses.
Breaking the shame cycle, breaking the culture of victim blaming.
The Northern Territory's first Aboriginal teacher, Dr. Miriam Rose Ungama Bauman,
I can't breathe.
is this year's Senior Australian of the Year.
Now is the time for you to come closer to understand us.
South Australia's Isabel Marshall, crowned Young Australian of the Year, recognised for her charity work selling sanitary products, with all profits helping women in poverty.
We have a responsibility to acknowledge our privilege and use our resources to lift others up.
And this year's local hero is
Rosemary Karaoke,
an advocate for migrants and refugees.
Together we can make this wonderful country that I call home even greater.
All women, all making a difference in their own ways. Rob Scott, 7 News.
Meanwhile, the reaction in Tasmania has been one of immense pride. Support services say the award is a significant milestone in how survivors are treated and viewed. Grace Tame wasted no time today, back out pushing for change. After making history last night, Grace Tame wasn't taking a rest today.
So to be there amongst those people as a survivor of child sexual abuse and celebrated for speaking out, that was hugely just, it was so wonderful.
Tasmania finally has its first Australia Day award winner, and sexual assault survivors now have a voice, too powerful to be silenced.
Survivors' voices have been silenced for far too long, so this is an opportunity for survivors' voices to be heard, to be understood what's happened to them.
There was also a supportive reaction from St Michael's Collegiate, the school where Miss Tame's abuse took place. We could not be more proud of Grace and her achievements. Grace has relentlessly pursued advocacy and raising awareness and driving change to better protect vulnerable people. Journalist and Let Us Speak creator Nina Fennell wrote, "It was a massive moment for Grace and the 16 other survivors in the campaign," while there were also heartfelt words from the Premier.
Her voice is now going to resonate around this country, and I could not be prouder of Grace.
Tasmania's Attorney-General is promising to continue working with survivors.
The government's completely committed to continuing the work that we do in this space, and I welcome the opportunity to continue our conversations with Grace Tame.
What we need to be able to do from here is create opportunities for victim survivors to be really bringing their expertise, so their understanding of violence and abuse.
Grace Tame is now turning her focus to prevention.
And also to look for ways that we can reform and review our legislation and policies to better protect survivors as opposed to enable predators.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
And if you or anyone you know needs help or this story causes distress, you can contact the Sexual Assault Support Service on 1800 697 877. Nearly 30 other Tasmanians have been acknowledged for their work helping others in the community in today's Australia Day honours. They've been recognised for supporting young people, agriculture, wildlife and culinary sectors, just to name a few.
Christopher Webster has worked on many high-profile cases as a lawyer and helped decriminalise homosexuality before taking on a role as a magistrate. The silver screen enticing him into the profession.
I think, just the excitement. I think it was watching the old films. If I mentioned Rumpold, no one would know, but if I mentioned Boyd QC, which was my inspiration, I don't think even less people would know.
After Bernadette Black fell pregnant at 16, she set out to help others and remove the stigma of teenage pregnancy by creating the Brave Foundation, today recognised for her work with young people and local government. Similarly, Sarah Parry has helped thousands of young people, including many from disadvantaged backgrounds, overcome adversity through sailing.
Sometimes those feedbacks don't come for weeks and months and even years after their voyage. When they do come, they often come out of the blue, and it's really rewarding to see where people have got themselves to from where they were over that intervening time.
Sally Ann Wise is no stranger to awards, receiving the Tasmanian Senior Australian of the Year in 2019. She's used her skills in the kitchen to help those young and old, as well as inmates about to be released from prison, relearn the art of cooking.
To just demystify cooking, just relax and everything will work out fine. You know, a few simple recipes where you can exercise your own flamboyance and make it into something else entirely. It's just so good to be able to impart that because it literally can change lives.
Rosemary and Terence Bennett have faced fires and frost in the Huon Valley, but have found solace in volunteering in the community.
We all join together when there's something going wrong in the communities. This is what the Huon Valley community is all about, helping each other.
Former politician Gregory Hall says serving in the Vietnam War made him want to help others. He's been recognised for his service to Parliament and agriculture in the state. And in 2008, Dr Bruce Englefield won Tasmanian of the Year and today received an Order of Australia for creating the Devil Island project, providing proper housing for Tasmanian devils.
I got involved with other Tasmanians who realised this mad old man was going to run the London Marathon to try and raise funds to build these facilities.
These just a few Tasmanians recognised for their hard work. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
At Citizenship Ceremonies across the state, Tasmania has officially welcomed our newest Australians hailing from countries right across the globe. While at the beach, community events have been the flavour of the day, with many celebrating by the water.
Enjoying the hot weather and the day off, punters flock to beaches across the state.
We've just been swimming, running around on the sand.
We've got a shack down here, but it's a beautiful place. It's only an hour from Launceston, so yeah, it's a great place.
Choosing to celebrate their Australia Day here at the annual Bridport Splash.
We've got sandcastle making competitions, we've got beach sprints. We had a surf boat rowing competition this morning, or demonstration.
We've been looking at all the sandcastles and seeing what people are making.
At the other end of the state, the Sandy Bay Regatta also saw crowds come to the waterfront.
There's some regattas, we've got dragon boats, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaks, so a whole lot of stuff that's connected with the water. We're connected with the City of Hobart Citizen Ceremony. That's a key ingredient of the day, but a good day for the community to come along.
With a number of citizenship ceremonies held, it was an important and emotional day in welcoming our newest Australians.
It's a very special day, and having been through it myself, my father was Austrian, my mother was British, and I came to this country when I was 4.
I think it helps us to understand different nationalities around the world, because what do we have, about 18 different countries they came from today, which is quite amazing.
Many had been waiting for this day for a long time.
4 years and 6 months. So I came to Australia in July 2016.
We came to Australia in 2009, so yeah, it's been like how many years?
All excited to call this country home.
We've been waiting for a long time to become the citizens of Australia, so it's a really proud moment for us.
It means a lot. Australia is a great place to live, and freedom of speech and safety, and the list just goes on.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
And while some celebrated, others mourned as record crowds gathered for emotional Invasion Day rallies. More than 1,000 protesters assembled in Hobart, demanding the date of Australia Day be changed.
A powerful message ringing out across Hobart, a mass of protesters rallying. For this crowd, January 26 isn't a day of celebration.
The invasion of Aboriginal lands and the destruction of Aboriginal societies is not something that should be celebrated, and we're calling for an end of these racist celebrations.
A record 1,000 people gathering on Parliament lawns, others listening from outside, lining the streets as the COVID capacity reached its limit. Their message a simple one.
We won't celebrate invasion!
Leaders taking to the stage one by one, Aboriginal voices sharing their stories and hope for change, while those not in the Aboriginal community stood by their side.
If you find other people to support you and knowing that it's such a big issue that other people are also driven to this, it really helps and for other people to understand and learn about our culture here in Australia.
Together, they want this to be the last Invasion Day rally, hoping by next year the date will be changed.
I'd like to see this continue on to be an official day of mourning where thousands of people can continue to come and show their support, can learn about what January 26 actually means.
Just another sign that we're going to win this little one. It's a bit while coming, but our fight will be victorious, no doubt about it.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
To today's other news now, and owners of 4 businesses in Launceston have been left devastated after an overnight crime spree. Police are searching for 4 men who ransacked the businesses, stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of goods.
A calculated crime spree across Launceston. 4 men smashing their way through the door at Liquor Stacks in Riverside just after midnight, leaving a trail of destruction.
A lot of sales to make up that loss. You just need to be behind the 8 ball all the time.
It's the second time in 6 months the business has been burgled. This time the men made away with nearly 70 bottles of spirits, totalling around $2,000, stumbling over glass as they made a getaway. The offenders then travelling to another bottle shop, 911 in Newstead, breaking through a glass door and taking alcohol. The offenders driving a blue BMW 4-wheel drive, believed to have been stolen from a marina in Beauty Point on Sunday night. Driving into this petrol station, they signalled the attendant to turn the pump on, filling the car with fuel and then driving off without paying for it. Then making their way to the Kings Meadows news agency at 1:30 a.m. They walked straight behind the counter, ripping a door off its hinges, taking between $20,000 and $30,000 of cigarettes. The burglars also making off with bongs and knives.
I'm just gutted, just gutted. You work hard and this is the end result, people just rip you off.
The clean-up, something Jeff Dolby is now becoming well accustomed to.
This happens all the time, We probably get broken into probably every 18 months, something like that.
Any business that suffers a burglary and a stealing, not only is it the damage, it's the effect it has on the owners, it's the effect it has on the staff, it's the effect it has on the general community. And that's why we need to take on these business burglaries as a community response.
Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
A 41-year-old man has been charged over the alleged abduction of a young girl at a far northwest coast campground. Police say the child was taken from the Montague campground on Sunday night and allegedly assaulted. A large-scale air and foot search was launched before the Rosebery man was arrested in bushland near Marrawar yesterday afternoon. Tasmanian public health authorities have started contacting recent arrivals from New Zealand after a coronavirus case was recorded in the country. Several locations across New Zealand's north have been declared high risk. Anyone in Tasmania who reported being in the affected regions since January 14 is urged to self-isolate and to contact public health. Kayakers have braved the rapids of the Cataract Gorge in this year's extreme race. This marks the final day of Paddle Week, when Hydro Tasmania releases water from dams to facilitate whitewater kayak events.
Hydro organises a series of releases around the state. So we've had the Mersey, we've had the King River, we've had Brady's Lake releasing, and then finally Cataract.
The race attracted a high-quality field, including past whitewater kayaking Olympians. In a chaotic final day of Race Tasmania's Symmons Plains stint has delivered more action. One driver completed an emotional comeback from testicular cancer to win, but the day was marred by several crashes.
Another bumper crowd assembled at Symmons Plains on day 3 of Race Tasmania to watch a disassembly.
There's a wheel missing. That's broken the rim.
6 categories were in action, including the S5000s. Crashes marred both their races. The first finishing under safety car as Tim Macro took his maiden win. The second was just as lively.
Lifted the rear wheels off the ground.
Surviving the carnage was a survivor, Thomas Randall, crossing the line first.
Incredible and emotional.
The 24-year-old only recently declared healthy after testicular cancer. In the TCRs, Lee Holdsworth was looking to further his perfect record after a hot start. The pace, a little too hot for some.
What's the background? Big crash here.
However, he was bested by Jordan Cox, who took 2 wins on the day. The second coming with Holdsworth crossing the line first, but relegated for jumping the start.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on now. I'm looking forward to seeing the replay because there's no way I jumped it.
Probably not the way I want to do it. Really wanted to cross the line first then, but...
Race Tasmania now moving on to Baskerville Raceway for the next weekend of racing. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening everyone. Launceston saw the state's top today, reaching 27 degrees, Devonport 25 and 23 in Hobart and Burnie. Across the state, Cressy and Scottsdale also saw the top of 27, Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park all 22, 20 in Grove and St Helens and 16 in Lyowini. A distinct swirl of low-level cloud can be seen wrapping around a low-pressure system off the south coast of the state today, while low cloud also covers much of the west and northeast. Further out, mid to high-level cloud can be seen over the southeast of Australia, while afternoon storms are seen over most of the central north of the country. Tomorrow's chart shows a high-pressure system to the southwest of Tasmania, as another high-pressure system over the Tasman Sea extends a weak ridge over the Queensland coast. South to southwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, reaching up to 35 knots about the lower east coast in the early morning. And there is a gale warning for the lower east coast from Wineglass Bay to Tasman Island for those southwesterly winds, and a strong wind warning current for all remaining coastal waters except for the north-west coast. 17 in Hobart and Bothwell tomorrow, cloudy, and 18 in Geeveston. Mostly sunny across the north with Launceston reaching 22, 20 in Devonport, Cressy 21. Burnie and Strahan both 20 degrees tomorrow, 19 and partly cloudy in Currie, and 19 in St Helens, cloudy, and 17 in Swansea and 17 in Orford. And the UV tomorrow remains extreme right across the state. Looking on to Thursday now, mainly fine with east to southeasterly winds. Rain developing about the north during the day on Friday, extending statewide during the afternoon. And on Saturday, rain easing to showers during the day, however possible afternoon thunderstorms in the northeast. 28 in Adelaide tomorrow, a shower or 2, and 23 in Canberra, 26 in Sydney and 32 in Brisbane and Darwin. And currently Hobart mostly sunny and 17, 23 and sunny in Launceston and 19 and sunny in Devonport. And Lou, that's all in weather tonight.
Thank you for that, Chelsea, and that's all your news for now for this Australia Day. Thanks for joining us this evening. Have a lovely evening. Good night.